My name is Captain Kai, the sea glass guy, and this is my best friend, Elsie, Little Coconut. She's my first mate. Her and I are sailing around the entire world together, and we're looking for all those sea glass beaches that no one has ever heard of before. There is a ton of sea glass in the world. Most of the world hasn't even caught on to the phenomenon of sea glass, but it's out there. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna show you where it's at. The way I got into beachcombing myself is after I left the army, I bought a cave in Hawaii. I put an ad in Craigslist that said free $500 reward if you find a cave. So all these people hit me up with caves that they knew about. I would check them out, and then I would hit up the owners. Hey, do you want to sell this land? Eventually I found my favorite cave. It was 3 miles long, only one entrance, which makes that entire 3 miles only accessible to the person who owns that piece of land. During that time, I also had cave raves, which are just big dances, hundreds of people underground at once having a good time. And then I actually moved on to start doing movies and commercials. So I would rent out the cave to folks that wanted it for production reasons. So Bud Light commercials, a new scary movie that's coming out. Channing Tatum, I believe, is gonna be featured in my cave. I always wanted to have some land, always wanted to have a farm. I actually got into this website called WOOFing, which stands for Working on Organic Farms. And using that, I had people come volunteer to stay at my farm and learn how to organically farm. So that's how I got my farm going. And after 4 years, I took a raw piece of land, turned it into a fully working farm. But I felt like I was stuck there. So I sold it to the largest tourism company in Hawaii. And they use it for tours, which is kind of cool. They also made my house into a farm museum for Hawaii's farming, which is also very interesting. Elvis, George Washington, also their houses were turned into museums. Put me on that list. That green boat over there, a beautiful one without a mast. She's a Tiana, 50-foot Flying Dutchman. They made 25 of these boats. The 25th one, the builder and designer made for himself. And he actually died about a decade ago. And when he died, somebody else got his boat, and then that person sold that boat to me. Out of 25 boats they made, this is the very last one made. They made it the best, I would like to think. And now she's my home, my life. Everything I own is pretty much in that boat. We left Portland, Maine. We bought our boat and we had to immediately do a lot of repairs. But after 6 months in Portland, Maine, we made it all the way to Florida into the intercoastal waterway. Immediately ran aground because it's horribly marked. That night we floated up, we made it to our friend's house. I woke up and we were struck by lightning. Huge storms outside. LC turned into an afro and she jumped about 8 feet into the air. I was pretty scared myself. Everything smelled like smoke.
We just got struck by lightning.
A lot of times, if you get struck by lightning, what will happen is a hole will blow out of the bottom of your boat from when the lightning escapes into the water. So immediately I was flipping up all the cupboards, all the floorboards, trying to figure out what was wrong, and luckily enough, didn't destroy the whole of the boat, although it did cost several $100,000 of damage. We made it all the way to Curacao, and that's when we hauled out of the water. We've actually been here in Curacao Marine for over a year and a half. Because insurance was paying for a lot of this, we weren't allowed to do work on the boat, so it left me kind of bored. So Elsie and I thought, hey, let's explore the island. First day in Curacao, going sea glass hunting, we found this one beach just loaded. Like no one had ever sea glassed there before. And all the sea glass wasn't just glass, it was jewelry grade, perfect, flawless glass. And I was so stoked. I'd never seen anything like it in my life, so I picked up quite a good handful. I found multiple reds all at once, like within an hour. So I was stoked. I told my mom about it, sent her pictures, and she was like, hey, if you're actually finding that much, you might want to look into what everything's worth. So I didn't even know at the time that there is a sea glassing industry. Joined all the Facebook group pages, got into Beachcombing magazine, noticed that, wow, this stuff that I'm finding is actually pretty rare. So every day for hours and hours, Elsie and I would drive around in our little inflatable boat, searching the entire 40-mile long coastline for sea glass beaches. And of the entire country here, we found about half a dozen beaches that are amazing. Little tiny beaches that no one else can reach. You're not allowed to anchor here in Curacao. So the only way to get on these beaches is to drive your boat up on the beach, but most boats can't do that. Luckily, our tiny inflatable one can. I never really thought when I got into sailing that I'd actually be able to find a treasure that would support me as I continue going around the world, but it's actually happening, which is nuts because it's like always been my ultimate dream. It's definitely my favorite pastime. So for the last year and a half, Elsie and I have been spending many hours a day out on the beaches collecting sea glass. So far, Elsie and I, we've been all the way down the East Coast. We found a few good spots there, but we promised to keep secrecy. We made it all the way to Aruba, where we found some of the best sea glass in the world. And we've been to Puerto Rico and Curacao, also for sea glass. Both of those are amazing spots as well. So Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao all have amazing amounts of sea glass. And the reason for that is the reason that a lot of island countries have sea glass. Landfills. You gotta get rid of your trash one way or another, and a lot of places burn their trash. Aruba still burns its trash every day. When you fly in on a plane, look down right before you land, you're gonna see a huge cloud of smoke. That's trash burning. Now, you don't wanna burn your trash in the middle of your island because the smoke's gonna go all over the people. So the trick is to burn all the trash on the beach. What's left after they burn it is glass and metal. All the organic debris is gone. All these beaches that were made out of compressed trash are getting eroded away from the land and turned into sea glass. So there's actually places here I can go in Curacao where I can see where the waves are starting to hit the land and pull more glass out that's been compacted for 60, 70, 80, 100 years. Antique glass, over 100 years old, is still entering the ocean for its first day ever today to start its journey as sea glass, which is kind of fun because a lot of people think all that's going in these days is Budweiser and Heineken bottles, old mirrors and plates. It's not true. There's still a ton of places in the world where they pack down beaches full of antique glass, covered in dirt, and now the ocean's just finally getting to it. For generations and generations, there'll still be amazing sea glass for everyone to find. So what I do is I go to all these different countries, I look for landfills, I go to museums, I look on maps, I research online, I ask older folks that have been here for a long time, hey, where did trash go back in the day? And a lot of times, no one else goes to them, ever. Why would you want to go to trash? In most cultures in the world, actually, sea glass isn't really a thing. All those places have sea glass too. Everybody used glass, everybody buried it. Most people burn it next to the ocean. We found places like this in Puerto Rico, we found places like this in Aruba, in Curacao, all over the Caribbean, we're finding spots. So a lot of what I do is live sea glass hunts. If you are stuck somewhere away from the beach and you want to go sea glass hunting, but you can't, you come with us. You're with us right there in the moment. And we do it on HD, so you can kind of see just as well as I can, sometimes better. People actually see marbles before I do every once in a while. We post all the time, and as we go around the world, we're gonna post all those sea glass beaches you have never ever heard of, and that no one has ever found before. But I gotta get to those countries first, and to do that, we gotta finish fixing our boat. As soon as everything opens back up, our boat should be ready within a matter of weeks, maybe a month. I'll have to test it out, go around some islands, make sure she's good, and then we're ready to keep going around the world. So that's the plan. Hopefully go to Africa again, Asia again. I would like to go around the horns of both Africa and South America. I don't know how many years it's gonna take us to make it, but we do plan to do it. I also take people on sea glass adventures, sea glass tours. So if you ever find yourself in a country that I happen to be in, hit me up. I'm happy to take people on tours, as it's become my new favorite hobby. To tell you more about Elsie here, she is a Yorkshire Terrier. She's 11 years old, go figure. Most people call her Puppy. Elsie has ran 2 marathons unassisted, just next to me on a leash. Got some Elsie hair on my face. Check out facebook.com/sunsout, tongues out. Elsie, show me your tongue button. If you press her nose, her tongue always comes out. Press her nose. There it is. Also, we have a YouTube channel as well. Just started up. It's youtube.com/theboardpirate. Anyways, thank you all very, very much. Hope to see you on the beach someday, and happy hunting, everyone. Take care.